classmates, we are going to be discussing the topic, we are intertwined with nature and we affect it as much as it affects us in a panel discussion. Brianna Martinez is going to be discussing the story My Life as a Bat along with Kelly Munoz. Nancy Ayala is going to be discussing the poem Carrie, and Gael Moise is going to be discussing the story Hope for All Animals and Their World. Okay, so to start it off, Gael, what was your intake on Hope for Animals and Their World?
Hope for Animals in the World were about species and how they're not appreciated by humans. And as animal species are becoming extinct, we need to start realizing that these animals are important. And the author, Jane Goodall, expresses her view on beetles, especially because they do things that we do not notice. And when they're gone, we will notice that because they're they're very important with our everyday lives. But when they're here, we don't notice them at all.
Like every animal has its own function. Like you see some animals that do the smallest thing ever, but we would notice if they were gone because those things would be like
Slowly we would notice as
time.
as time goes by. We would notice what happens when if the animals were to be extinct.
And the case of the story Gael was discussing, we have the beetles which were becoming extinct, and the author said that we would notice if they were gone. Like it would impact like humanity and the ecosystem a lot.
Brianna, do you personally agree with this and appreciate nature?
Yeah, I appreciate nature. I agree with that because like the burning beetle, is that what we call it? Yeah. They eat like the decaying stuff in the ground, and that helps with the soil and like our ecosystem. And without that, it wouldn't be the same.
Okay. Nancy, what ideas did you find in the poem Carrie?
In the poem Carrie, I found that we affect the nature as much as it affects us because at the beginning of the poem, I read that it said it was a hawk once wild with hunger, sharp talons locked into the dying twist and scale of fish. It showed that our simple fishing caused the death of a powerful and very known predator, the hawk. And just the fact that one simple thing such as fishing can affect a species is very, I guess you can say, moving. Because we need to be more careful as to where we fish and how we fish. And also in the second page where it says it was beautiful that water like a silver coin stretched thin enough to feed us all, it shows how nature provides for us and that we should provide at least equally or more back to it. So it's like a give and take type relationship with nature.
Did you guys find the poem Carrie soothing or frightening?
I think at the beginning it was more like frightening because of the word she was using, and
Yeah, it was beautiful. And all that.
Yeah, that it was soothing. Towards the end it started feeling soothing, but in the beginning it was like frightening or a type terror, chill down.
like the words, like the descriptive words she puts to water was frightening. But
Yes.
then like what she said at the end, it became more soothing, like really calm and made you feel calm if you were floating in water. And
Do you agree with this, Kaya?
I think at the beginning she portrayed water as something destructive for killing a predator or a huge animal like a hawk. And as the story progressed, and at the ending, she portrayed the water as something that benefits us and helps us in life.
Okay, good. Brianna, did you have anything you want to share about My Life as a Bat?
My life as a bat. It basically like it tracks to the quote. The fact that our souls live again is an act of nature, as the author talks about resurrection. She believed she was a bat in her previous life.
Weird.
And nature releases us into other bodies, according to her. And again, she thought she was a bat. Also, as humans, we fear things of nature. Like, we fear basically almost a lot of things, and bats fear us. We are not separate from the wilderness because they fear things too. And then according to the quote, we are intertwined with nature. We affect it as much as it affects us. We are connected to them rather than separate from them.
Kelly, is there anything you want to add to this?
While reading the last 2 pages, I read the bats, based on the author, bats were used as deadly weapons in Germany. So we were like using bats in a way to, you could put it as terrorism, because you're using bats to burn the city or the different cities in Germany which they were. And also we are connected to animals like in different ways. Like there are some religions that believe in reincarnation. So you could be like a cat, in your past life, and now you're a human. So we're always connected to different animals and nature.
One way or another.
She mentioned.
And we are humans would fear more like bats than bombs. Like the author mentioned that if you were to ask a person, what would you fear more, a bat or a bomb? The answer will be a bat. Even though they haven't done anything to us, we still fear them more than bombs. And we're affecting these animals. Like, why are we fearing them without any reason?
Okay. She mentioned how bats were used as bombs. Do you guys agree with this method?
No, because bats are part of our nature. We're basically killing our nature.
They
by
could be
using
helping,
bombs.
even though we don't notice anything. They could be helping our nature in some tough way, because every animal is here for a reason.
But they're killing them.
And the fact that their death didn't really matter when she stated that
Exactly.
many were killed, but like the deaths of the bats didn't really count.
Kyle, do you agree with this?
That's what yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. No, what you were saying, they were using these bats in a bad way. I'm not saying they're using it in a good way.
I think that they use these bats instead of bombs for economical reasons. That
No, but wait, these bats were carrying bombs.
I guess they were carrying
and then at night they like let them
Set
cool.
them off.
Yeah, because the bats would go to the dark spots of the
Yeah.
houses, and then that's where they would hide. And after a while,
They had a timer, and so after a while they would like slow them to like the cities where.
That's sad.
A good method, but very sad. Okay. Do you guys agree with the idea that nature isn't always what it seems?
Yes.
Yes.
How did your stories express this idea?
People would think that the bat is a simple part of nature, but I think it was Margaret Atwood, that's her name. She said that bats are part of reincarnation, and you wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't think that.
Like I mentioned before, there's some religions that truly believe in reincarnation, and
we see it like I think it's Buddhism.
That you know, but
Yeah, like
Come
Native
back.
American tribes,
Yeah.
so they believe that you were an animal in your past life.
And you come back as a human or something.
Yeah.
I mean it depends if you do it. So. Or you were a human and then you were an animal, but some way they believe that we are connected to animals or nature in
Yeah.
some way.
I
They should
And
like,
maybe like
I think
evolved
that-
from like.
I think they even
wait a
believe
second,
that you
guys.
can.
I believe Nancy had an idea.
I was reading Carrie. Nature may not always seem as what we see it, because towards the end, it was like when it stated, "I will gather you into the hands of something stronger, older, and deeper." Nature can be either your friend or your enemy. You can't just like walk into the water and think, "Oh, nothing's gonna happen to me." There's things there that can harm you, and you
It's
can
like the
be-
forest, right?
Yes,
You can't relate it to forest.
you can get lost and you can drown, and then you can.
And well, in the forest, you can like get. There's some really dangerous animals that could like harm you. So I mean, it depends on your point of view and like what you're talking about. Because it could be nature could be good or bad,
Yeah, it depends how you interact with it.
and how you treat it too.
I think that the nature's appearance determines how or what it actually does to the human race, because sometimes nature, people look at nature as a wonderful thing, but they end up getting injured or hurt. Like I remember a story about a group of friends were camping out in nature, or camping out in the woods, and they love going to adventurous places, So they were camping, and the next day they found one of their friends dead because he was killed by a bear. And that they, before going to that place, they had a different view of nature, because first they thought that they looked at nature as a wondrous thing.
Like that's a way nature affects us, right? But there's also a way we affect nature, because we also kill nature in some way, like animals or
Use it as food source.
exactly, and like
We cut down trees. We take people like the animal shelters away by cutting that out.
like there are crazy people that are burning the forest with a lot of animals.
There's like
Even
forest
the-
fires, like we create the fires and
Like
people
the bear commercial.
Like
Yeah.
even the waste we throw in the street could like make a difference, because we're harming nature and like the earth in some way, because
I mean, nature isn't perfect, but we still need it. It still affects us.
we still live on it, like
Yeah, every single day.
and like vegetarians live on nature basically, because you know like
In conclusion, Gael, did you find any differences throughout the stories?
I found that My Life as a Bat and Humans and Hope for Animals in Their World show that humans treat animals as a prop, and that once they are gone, they won't be beneficial to us anymore, and that we don't need them in life. And Carrie showed about how nature can not only can help us, but can also kill us, and that how nature is feeding, and how animals that are high class can be killed by these elements.
Okay, so in conclusion right here, we talked about how nature affects us and we affect it, and nature can be harmful, but it's also beneficial to our environment. Thank you guys for this session. Meeting adjourned, right? Yeah.